Welcome to the Vanilla to Vixen podcast. This show contains adult content, so if you are under 18 or easily offended, please switch off now. Mr. and Mrs. N are not qualified relationship counsellors. This show is for entertainment purposes only. Now the disclaimer is out of the way, sit back, relax, and enjoy our journey from Vanilla to Vixen.
Welcome to episode 61 of Vanilla to Vixen. We are your hosts, Mr. and Mrs. N, also known as...
The Naughty Couple.
That'll be the ones. That'll be the ones.
You went all sultry when you said N.
I know, I thought I'd make it like a sexy episode. We've got some very sexy guests with us today.
We do.
We've got CheekyDemand, Kaz and Russ. Hi, guys.
Hi. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for inviting us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
No, we were more than welcome.
Absolutely, yes.
We like to drag our victims, don't we?
Yes, we like to groom them in.
You didn't have to drag us very hard.
Did you know why the person with the foot fetish never does very well in the casino?
No.
Because they don't like the smell of defeat.
No.
Got that out of the way.
Oh dear.
I didn't even try and blend that one in.
Yeah, there's no point really,
I didn't even try and blend it.
No point.
Let's get on to the show.
Yay.
So, Kaz and Russ, what's your favourite club that you go to?
Oh, mine, for one reason and one reason only, is Liberty Elite.
Liberty Elite.
Well, there's lots of reasons actually, but the biggest reason is the hot tub.
It's a great hot tub.
Can't beat it.
That's a lady after Mrs. N's heart.
Absolutely.
You'll either find her at the buffet or the hot tub.
Yeah.
Nowhere in between.
I'm easily found usually.
Yes. She's on her way.
Try and plan
Food
the
or
hot tub
jets?
around the
food or jets, that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Russ, do you share the same? Or have you got a different? No, you've got a different one. Or
I do have a different one. Yeah,
okay.
I personally prefer Extasia.
Extasia.
Yeah, I love the big open dance floor area. It's like a properly kitted out nightclub.
Yeah, it's got more of a nightclub vibe.
Yeah, the lighting rig, the DJ booth. It's really well fitted out. It's like proper into a proper nightclub.
So you're a bit of a raver.
And back in the day,
Excellent.
I have video evidence of that now from this weekend after spending it at Skegness.
Oh yeah.
I can show you later.
Oh,
okay.
Is this like one of those old-fashioned proper 90s roads, travelling around like fields in a Ford Orion? You know, you get going, secret raves. Yeah, secret warehouse raves. Did you ever go to a rave, Mrs. N?
No.
Oh, you're such a good girl.
I was a good girl. I am a good girl.
That's what, you know, and you'd arrive somewhere and then somebody called Dave on the gate would send you another 30 miles and you just end up having a McDonald's and going home.
That's definitely your youth from what you've told me.
Absolutely. I have stories I could tell you.
Feel free to share, my lovely.
Well, I had a relatively dull youth up until the age of, say, 21.
Okay. And then what happened when you hit 21?
Well, it was, 1996?
Okay.
So, centre of Manchester. I'm from Manchester originally.
Okay.
So, that was the centre of the universe. So, you had the Hacienda. I think that had already shut down by then. But then the whole Manchester scene had kicked in. You know, you got the Stone Roses, you got the Happy Mondays, you got the Spiral Carpets, you've got the gay village going along Canal Street. All the best music, the best pubs, the best clubs, the best scene, the best everything in the world.
It was like cool Britannia back then, wasn't it?
It was the centre of the universe for a few years. Illegal warehouse parties where they'd just pop something open and back a truck with a sound rig on the back of it. And you'd get to know about it, not because people had a mobile phone and WhatsApp, there'd just be hand-printed flyers that'd just be handed out in the pubs. And they'd come along all the various pubs in the gay village, or through the various pubs that were part of the nightclub scene, and just hand them out to everybody.
Yeah.
And then everyone would just filter off into the night somewhere, and next thing you know, you wake up the next morning and you knew you had a good time, but you didn't remember much.
Way, way, way different to how I was back then. So I grew up in the middle of a little tiny village in the middle of the Cotswolds, so none of that.
Wow, you couldn't get anything more different, but how beautiful.
I'm kind of making up for it now.
You see a lot of people in the naughty hobby, as you know, we don't call it the lifestyle, we call it the naughty. A lot of people in the naughty hobby are like that, though. A lot of people, you find a lot of swingers that don't drink because they find other more interesting things to do.
Oh, absolutely. You wouldn't want to have your performance impeded by that alcohol, you know.
And you want to remember it the next following morning.
Yeah, exactly.
There's some of the parties you can go to. There's no way I'd want that clouded.
At all. Okay, so I want to ask you guys separately then. So, Russ, how did you get from being a 21-year-old, raving it up, to getting into the naughty hobby?
It was a bit of a weird one, actually, because we always wanted to try new places. You know, there's a rave on at this place, there's a club opening, doing this stuff, and a lot of places didn't even have a license. You just turn up, you'd drink some booze, you'd listen to the music and disappear. And a friend said, come try this place out in the centre of town. It's just a set of stairs that goes into a basement, and you just enjoyed yourself. Paid a few quid to the doorman.
Yeah.
In you go. And the place didn't have a licence. You just turned up and enjoyed yourself. And then during the night, things just turned a bit weird.
Okay.
Now, the girl I'm with, she's like, I don't feel right. Something's wrong. And it all just spontaneously erupts. So it's not like it is nowadays, where there's a lot of consent and people asking. No, it just literally seemed like it exploded like a Roman orgy.
Wow. So was this Manchester?
Yeah.
This is so cool. I've never heard of this before.
No.
This is like the stuff of myths and legends.
Look how excited you've got him now.
I'm all animated.
But as quick as places places like this that open up, they get shut down again very quickly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I suppose once word of mouth got out that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like if you said there was a warehouse party somewhere, you could never go back to that location again, because it would be known to the authorities. And but by then it was too late. We were kind of, what happened last night? I don't know. But we got a bit of an interest in it, and we had conversations, and it's like, well, let's investigate it further.
Wow.
We weren't both horrified. We were both kind of interested in what had happened, so we decided to investigate it further. So just the same way that people would advertise raves with flyers, they would advertise meets and scenes, other activities in the naughty hobby, using, again, flyers that they just get handed out.
Wow, this is so interesting.
This is all before the internet. This is all before mobile phones and text messages.
You see, we haven't done a lot of... We've spoken to the previous owner of Liberty Elite, John, and we kind of talked about how the scene evolved before the internet down...
Like house parties.
And down south and the Midlands. But we've never actually managed to get somebody who was kind of in the scene, probably further north.
Yeah.
So that's really
probably
cool.
This is the other thing as well, because the majority of the people that you speak to, it's usually, we got invited to a house party, or we had a friend who was in that naughty hobby and they told us about it. This was almost like you had no idea what was going to happen until it happened.
Yeah, it's like a tripped and fell on top of it.
Wow.
Did anything happen like this in the Cotswolds?
No, I wasn't involved in it when I was back there. I got involved... when I was in Leicester with my ex, just having fantasies about threesomes and things like that, and did a little bit of Googling and managed to find Fab Swingers.
Did you always go for like the male-female or the male-female-female?
Our first meet was a single man, but he picked us up and took us to the Paradise Club that used to be at Loughborough.
Yeah.
So we did our first meet and our first club all in
one
same night.
That's quite a brave...
Which was really I think it was good because it got that fright of going to a club out of the way straight away.
You both kind of got history of the lifestyle when you met.
Yeah, we met through the lifestyle.
Okay.
Through a kick chat group.
Oh, that's really cool.
I was already in the group when you joined, wasn't I?
Yeah.
I thought you were a bit of a
dickhead.
No. Yeah, my first impressions were that I probably wasn't going to get on very well with him.
How did that work out?
Might change my mind. Yeah, and then
join the naughty hobby, it will change your life.
Definitely.
So you actually, because we've had other people that have been on the podcast that have met through the hobby, and not necessarily intentionally either.
Yeah.
So was it the case with you and Russ that you weren't looking for like a romantic relationship? You were just looking for somebody to...
No, we were both with other people.
Okay.
I think it was fairly obvious when we met that my marriage was coming to an end.
Yeah.
But quite, acrimoniously, we just grew apart, wanted different things.
Yeah.
And so we met a couple of times just as swinging buddies. And then your relationship ended.
Yeah.
And then it just evolved from being a really nice friendship with benefits to you giving me a set of keys and me not leaving.
I'm always intrigued in this because obviously our story's different. We were both completely vanilla going into it. So when you initially get together as a couple and you're like, okay, and this was something we talked about the other week as well, which I found really interesting. We were talking about it in a club where if a couple who are both in the lifestyle or sort of aware of the lifestyle get together, have they seen each other play with other people before they get together? Because that's like an interesting one. Because apparently, we were talking to a certain person, they were saying it's very different if you've not seen the other person playing. Whereas if you've seen the other person playing, I suppose then you've kind of already... I suppose whether it kind of triggers the jealousy thing, whereas you're not sure how you're going to feel if you've not seen the other person play.
Especially when you've got those more romantic feelings for each other as well.
Yeah. Well, I think...
I saw videos and pictures for you.
Yeah, we'd seen pictures and things on Fab.
Yeah.
But actually playing with other people, we'd obviously been playing with each other when we'd met up.
Yeah.
We had played with others together.
I think once you're already in the scene, if you've been playing with other people and if you then get to meet somebody, if there is an element of jealousy at the beginning, it's like, well, that's just a death sentence, surely.
Yeah.
If you can get past that whole thing and you accept them despite what's happened in the past, then it's not just that you're right for each other, you're right for being in this community.
We've always said, haven't we, that being in the naughty hobby is an enhancement of your relationship rather than a replacement
or the basis.
Yeah, so I suppose it's the same thing.
Well,
whether you meet in the scene within the lifestyle or whether you meet like me and Mr. N did in a vanilla relationship.
Yeah, obviously meeting in the scene, we knew what each other was already into.
Yeah.
So there was no kind of awkward conversations around that.
Yeah, you see, it's difficult. When you start off as vanillas, it's difficult.
Yeah. So we already knew that we both liked meeting other people. We just had conversations. Like, the biggest thing, isn't it, is open, honest conversations.
Yeah.
Being honest with each other about what we wanted. So coming up with our own little... We don't call them rules, they're guidelines, because, they can evolve and change over time.
I like that.
Well,
guidelines.
Give you an example. So you go on Fab and you've got an age range, and we'll say from maybe 30 to 65. Okay.
Yeah.
But there might be a really cute 29-year-old that comes along and you think, do you know what? I don't care. It's only a year.
Yeah.
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 Of course.
That's really good. I really like that.
Yeah.
And it is fluid, isn't it? Things change as you go along. You don't stick to your kinks. Your kinks change and...
Well, I was just about to say, so the kinks that you both had before you met each other, have they changed since you've then been together?
Oh, yeah. I lost a lot of mine.
Really?
I'm discovering them back again, which is good.
When you say you lost them, was that like? Did you feel like a negative thing?
No, it's actually just through bad experience. Like I said, the girl I was first with when we found this place, she was vanilla to Vixen.
Yeah.
And got into the scene a bit, but it was of the era, where easy access to nightclubs and drugs and parties, and you just go a little bit crazy. So the rules that we'd set for who we could play with and what we could do, they very quickly just go out the window.
Yeah.
When you're not in control of your faculties. So it became pretty obvious that we couldn't stay together. So we ended up splitting up.
Yeah.
But from that point, you can't meet normal people again.
Yeah.
You only ever then meet people in the naughty hobby.
Yeah.
So finding another person who's prepared to accept you for what you are and respect certain boundaries and follow certain guidelines, again, can be difficult. And the words will be there, but the actions don't necessarily follow.
Yeah.
So, you get with somebody for another couple of years, and then the bad behaviour comes in, and then we end up splitting up again. And the kinks that we used to be into was all kinds of weird stuff, knife play, that sort of thing, blood play, ropes, the lot. But I think after a few too many unorganised meets where I'd come home from work and there would just be people coming out the flat.
Right.
It was like, no, sorry, this can't have this anymore. And,
Did you feel that it stopped kind of becoming about you as a couple?
Well, it wasn't just that. I mean, I'm sure we could have resolved matters with words, but when I said we were going to split up, she basically attacked me with a sword.
Holy shit.
So I
I'd imagine ran.
Well, I managed to survive. As you can tell, I'm still alive. Still alive, everybody. Don't panic.
But that must have had a massive impact on you, of wondering
where
you were going to go from there.
Well, I stopped talking to people for a couple of years.
Did you?
Went to work, came home, didn't speak to anybody, didn't speak to my family, friends, anybody. Just homework, and that's just it. I shut myself off.
Was that like a self-preservation thing? You just didn't want to have to sort of face it or deal with it?
Certain I needed counselling at some point, but it was just you don't do that.
Yeah. It was a different time, wasn't it?
A stupid man brain.
Yeah.
Don't want help, can't speak to anybody about it.
Yeah.
Who would understand?
Yeah.
So how did you get past that?
Well, I eventually met a nice vanilla girl who gave me all the help that I needed, and we eventually ended up getting married and having kids. But eventually we just, got to the point where we couldn't resolve our differences.
Yeah. So were you completely vanilla in that marriage?
Yeah.
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 And that must have been hard.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not something you can just kind of like, okay, I can forget about it now.
There was a self-imposed vanilla period for a few years before that, though.
So it's almost like you went like literally from one end of the spectrum to the other, and then you feel like
there was that level of trauma, though. So you need a big shock to kind of move you out of it.
Yeah.
But I'm not a 20-something odd kid anymore. I'm now a grown up.
Who told you that?
I was going to say.
My mum told me.
I was going to say, men are never grown ups.
Just big kids, really.
Yeah.
So are you now in in a place that you can tell that you two are very close.
There's lots of touching.
There's lots of touching going on, which is so sweet.
Mrs. N loves the romance.
I do. I absolutely love it. So
romantic.
it's so sweet that you can see how much you two are really into each other. So do you feel that you have got to that place that not that you wanted to get to, but where you feel like you're you?
Yeah. I think I'm almost back to where I used to be.
Yeah.
In terms of being able to do what I feel like I need to do, express how I want to be part of this lifestyle.
Yeah, we both know that there's nothing that we can say that the other person or be shocked about. You know, we can talk about things that we both like, things that we want to try, or that, you know, no, sorry, that doesn't feel right. And it's just a conversation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Neither of us are going to overreact and go, what are you talking about, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Are you kind of both on the same wavelength at the kinks that you both have? Or are there things that are, you know, one of you would say, actually, that's not my bag, I'm not really into
There's
that?
obviously the things that Russ isn't into, for obvious reasons, with things that happened.
Yeah.
And they weren't ever things that I was into anyway.
So no knives. Or needles.
Yeah.
You know, I do a little bit of needle play, but I do that away from him, and he's absolutely fine with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I respect the boundaries that he's got with those things.
But it's the other things as well. We know that because we are with each other and we've got our guidelines, we're free to express if we like something.
Yeah.
You know, might see a cute guy or a cute girl walk across the dance floor and it'll be, I want one.
But we actually have really similar tastes as well. So 99% of the time, I'll say that, we'll say that to each other, and the other one will go,
So you do the thing.
Someone will walk past and we won't say a word, we'll just look at each other and
you'll know his type and you'll know her type.
It's very much the same thing. So
I think you do get in tune with each other, because we're very much the same, don't we? I could see.
We could be in the club and Mrs. Anna would see a girl and go, aye.
Yeah, and then you'll say something. I went, yeah, clocked her. Clocked her ages ago.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's when it's nice, because you kind of, it's that deeper part of the relationship that you have, that you're both so in tune with each other.
Yeah.
And that is amazing. It's
All
an
the
amazing feeling when you've got that level, I think.
And I'd imagine as well, so as a couple, that once you've been in that lifestyle and you can be so open to that degree with your partner and go, yeah, I fancy her. Can you imagine then being with someone who's not, where the rage of jealousy would then fly? You've kind of changed, haven't you? You've evolved. We use the word evolve sometimes, and so you evolve past that. So then to be with somebody who's completely vanilla, I'd imagine would be quite difficult.
Yeah,
it's so nice to just be open. You can say anything.
Yeah.
You don't have to think, oh no, I can't say that because it might upset them. You know, it just comes out, doesn't it? To the point where actually when we're with other people that aren't in the hobby, we have to go, sorry, didn't know.
I know. It's that thing where you go to say something, then you go, no, can't do that in this environment, Mr. Schmidt.
I remember particularly being at one vanilla occasion, I think it was a birthday party, and I was just really struggling. A whole night talking to vanilla people. And I was like, I want to talk about hot tubs and God, pineapples.
Yeah.
Oh, the conversation matter. That's the easy bit. The thing I struggle with is clothes.
Yeah.
I thought that was just a woman thing.
I think you take them off.
If I'm sat in an area too long.
Oh, of course, yes. You would. We did have a little chat before we came on air, didn't we? That.
So obviously with certain clubs,
Russ is like a male version of me.
Just
likes to be naked.
Strip off. So certain clubs you could just go straight down to your towels. There we go.
There we go.
The t-shirt's coming off.
It's off.
The t-shirt's off.
Just keep your pants on for now.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Tits on the Radio.
Love it.
I mean, we were at Butlins at the weekend, and he's on the dance floor, and oh my God, it was so hot in there over the weekend. You imagine how hot it was, and then fill this huge place full of people dancing, and he's just like, I'm just going to take my shirt off. I'm like, no, you need to keep your shirt on. You're in public. He's like, I'm just going to take my shirt off. That's all. I'll keep my pants on. I promise.
Was it one of those like adult weekend type things?
Yeah, it was a 90s weekend.
I mean, you're saying, no, keep your shirt on. And it's like, listen, there's a guy over there dressed like a milk carton. And there's a girl at the front dressed like a mermaid, and she's just took a bra off and thrown it at Peter Andre.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I don't think anybody's going to care that a middle-aged
As the
guy's taking
camera.
his t-shirt off.
Yeah, as the camera went across the crowd, accidentally on purpose, the top flew off and everybody in the audience got a flash, didn't they?
Oh, they pulled her up on stage later on.
I wonder why.
Yeah, no, any opportunity to get the clothes off, and his clothes are off.
Yeah. I just feel uncomfortable with them on, so, what's the pity that I can't just live in a naked commune?
Yeah. Do you know, it's funny, once we had a conversation with some naturists, didn't we?
Yeah.
And it quite surprised me because I never realised that naturists, if you go to like
No, it is.
What do you call it?
It is commonly known that naturists hate swingers.
Yeah.
because they don't actually have sex.
No.
So-
Apparently it does go on, but it's not supposed to go on. But my thing was, because Mr. N said to me, oh, that'd be your dream, being able to just be naked all the time and everything. I said, yeah, but I think I'd get actually quite frustrated.
So we discovered through conversation that we were within the shire of where we are. There's a naturist place not too far away. So we were like, okay, we can look into this. And we found out it was about £400 a year to join. There's no preview to this. It's about 400 quid. You just 400 quid, and if you don't like it, tough shit. 400 quid a year to join, and obviously there's no naughties, no nothing.
No.
How much time do you get to spend there?
I don't know.
I don't know,
We didn't
'cause
actually
I've
ask the
never done
question, did we? But it was interesting that the couple that obviously go to this naturist club, or whatever you call it, were actually in a swingers club when we were talking to them.
And I started working out. I was like, £400. That's almost like 10 trips to Liberty Elite. I was like, fuck that. I'm not allowed to play.
I think a lot of people do just go to the clubs to walk around naked.
Yeah.
Or walk around, just in nice underwear.
Oh, fair play.
Fair
few
not
do,
everybody
yeah.
goes and plays, do they?
No, that's
the whole
right.
thing.
They do. They all go for different
They
reasons.
really hate each other.
Apparently so.
So if a bunch of naturists and a bunch of swingers met each other in an alleyway, it'd be like West Side Story.
Yeah,
That would make a hell of a film.
wouldn't it?
Okay, we need to remake it.
That could be quite a musical. I'm quite into that.
Watch this space.
That's brilliant.
Oh man! Oh no, I've got this whole I've got this whole Romeo and Juliet thing going on now.
If we've got any listeners who are have done the naturism thing, could be wrong. I was told that like the old-fashioned naturists who ran the nature absolutely hate swingers.
It surprised me. I wasn't expecting that.
I'm writing the script now in my
I know,
head.
I
as
know.
I'm
Where are
playing
you?
it.
I can see the cogs
I've got
turning.
the cogs are turning.
They are.
You got the
I'm gonna be listening to this all night now. I'll
you got
text you
DiCaprio's
tomorrow.
family that
Yeah.
are like the swingers.
Yes.
Claire Danes' family that are the naturists. And
This could be.
she's a naturist and she wants to swing, and he's a swinger and he wants to be a naturist.
You see, that's just, it's got
And
to
the
be
families
done.
can't accept it.
Yeah, it's got to be done. That's got blockbuster written all over it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Either that or like some weird acid trip. One of the two.
I've seen weirder films made. This one would actually work.
We need to see if we can sell the rights.
Oh no, yeah. You heard it here first.
You did.
Absolutely.
Steven Spielberg. We need Steven Spielberg to direct it.
He never did any sex scenes though, did he?
Oh, there's going to be no sex in it.
No sex at all.
No.
Yeah.
It'll all be implied.
Yeah. that's
Oh,
quite
are we
good.
talking like, I love like those period dramas where it's all to do with the looks and
Yeah.
the tension that builds, and it's like
And you see the Titanic, the big sex scene in Titanic was just a hand against a
steam car window, wasn't
that
it?
was
Yeah.
it. Very clever, very subtle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She did get her boobs out though.
Oh yeah, I forgot that.
Yeah, she did.
yeah.
Did she? Did she actually have boobs, or did you
No.
see the,
Just for an
No,
artistic drawing.
painting
She
her.
did get her boobs out.
I can't remember.
Yes, all implied. Like the reason why your little finger sticks out when you're holding a drink. All implied.
You're ready for a history lesson?
History lesson, guys.
Okay, here we go.
So the posh people, when they're having a drink and the little pinky finger sticks out.
Yeah.
Well, back in the day, if you had syphilis, it would make your hands crunch up in a claw, and you couldn't straighten your fingers. So if you could stick your finger out straight, it proved that you didn't have syphilis.
Oh my God!
And the high societies would have their cocktail parties, and it would be basically advertising saying, I'm available.
And I'm syphilis free.
I'm syphilis free.
Oh, wow. You see? You learn everything on this show.
I think we should reintroduce that Liberty Elite. Come here, look at my little pinky. That needs to be brought back.
Just make sure they're looking at your hand.
Yeah. Does it apply to any other body parts? Oh, blimey. That really kind of, we went off on one then, didn't we?
Oh,
but I love that. I absolutely love that. Any more facts?
Tangent.
We love
right
it.
over there.
We love it. So how long have you two actually been together?
Oh,
Just over 6 months.
yeah.
No way.
I thought you were going to say like,
Everybody
20
sees
years or
us,
something.
says
Everybody
years.
says that.
Yeah.
You just seem to like literally be like, you know.
Oh, look. Bless you.
Yeah, everybody says that, don't they?
Yeah.
Like, how long have you been married? Well, we're not.
So do you think, this is a question I want to ask, having been in the lifestyle and then meeting as a couple, you know, obviously when you start a new relationship and, you know, it kind of goes through certain stages and, you know, you kind of take time to get to certain parts and stuff. Do you think it's escalated because you're part of the naughty hobby?
A lot of steps we've definitely skipped.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were friends for like a good 9 months before we became a couple, so
Yeah.
we got to know each other quite well during that period, just as, you know, meeting during the hobby.
I think it came to a head at your birthday, didn't it?
Yeah.
Who made the first move? Who was the one that said, actually, it's more than just...
Oh, the brave one.
Yeah.
Taking it from the friend zone.
Yeah.
Well, you went out one day and came home with a set of keys.
Oh, that was afterwards, though. That was after your birthday. Yeah.
That's a brave move, that is.
Well, I invited him to my birthday party, which was the end of March. That was Bistro Live. And then because he was living in Derby at that point, he got a hotel. So that was our first night together, like proper overnight.
Driving home after having a drink.
No, absolutely.
You see, I think as well, when you get together when you're older, I think it happens quicker because you know, don't you? You just know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think also you don't kind of bother with all the silliness that comes with being young and in a relationship. You kind of get past all of that, and it's like we don't play games. This is what we want. You know what I mean? It's that kind of.
External factors meant, I think, things moved on quicker than they might have done, like moving in together and.
No, I think it was actually
like that,
your birthday,
so-
though. So your birthday party was a few days before your actual birthday on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Bistro Live, which was nice. But your actual birthday was midweek.
Yes, the week after.
But you were on your own.
I would have been.
So I booked a day off work and decided to take her out.
Oh.
Just an ordinary vanilla.
He wouldn't tell
day
me
out.
anything
No,
about
total
where we
secret.
were going.
I drove her into the countryside in the car. She was fretting, thinking there was going to be tarpaulin and a couple of is she going to get buried in the countryside somewhere?
Before, I was like, what am I supposed to wear? Where, you know, are we going somewhere posh? Do I need trainers? Do I need
Yeah, you see,
sandals?
as ladies need this
Yeah.
information. You can't just drop
Am I going to
it.
be outside? Or am I going to get cold
See,
or wet?
Guys try to be romantic and you're just being practical. Ladies just being practical. Wellies or...
So I ended up taking you to a National Trust for the day, and we had scones.
Oh, no.
Cheese
Okay.
scones.
Cheese scones.
Cheese scones.
Yes, cheese
Okay,
scones.
so we don't have to do the whole debate of cream or jam first.
It's a tricky
Well, no,
one,
it was
this one,
onion
because...
chutney, wasn't it?
Yeah, I can't remember which way round it is, but Devon and Cornwall have them differently.
That's it.
We can- I can tell you
tell you
this.
this major argument in our household.
I have actually literally been on the verge of being thrown out of an establishment in Devon for saying that first of all I called it a scone, and she had an absolute fit at me and said it's a scone, and then I said that I preferred the cream
You
and the
have
jam.
cream. You have cream first. No. Yes, you have cream first
Cream
and then
first,
jam.
then jam. and she literally was going to throw me out.
I'm with you on that one. That's the way I would do it.
No.
She was literally going to throw me
See,
out.
that's the weird thing. People from Devon do one.
Yeah.
People from Cornwall do the other.
Yeah.
And even though they disagree, they will agree to disagree.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if I went into an establishment surrounded by both parties and said, "Do you know what? I'm going to make everybody happy. I'm going to make one cream then jam and the other one jam then cream," they would all just hate me.
Just sitting on the fence.
You can't have one of the... No. It's like people who go to a competitive Rangers Celtic match and wear a half and half shirt. They would just be ejected from the ground.
There can't be people that do that, surely.
Absolutely. You shouldn't do it. No. And
You'd get beaten up, wouldn't you?
yeah, by the security staff.
Yeah.
Just you to turn it back to football.
You'd be looking to get out of Scotland alive.
See, going back to the houses of the National Trust, I think some of those would make fantastic swinger venues.
The amount of times if we go somewhere and the first thing Mr. N will say...
Yeah. We've done a couple of them and we've gone. Oh, the first thing is like, this would make a brilliant swingers club.
Well, a few years back, there was a place that I went for a birthday weekend. And it was one of these big fancy houses that belonged to, Lord of the Manor.
Yeah.
And it had initially been approached by the National Trust because they were thinking about taking it on. But because of the land that it was on, they don't just want the house, they want the land as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The land belonged to the coal board. And the coal board refused to sell it. I can't remember the name of the place, but it was perfect. But it was a wreck. The roof had fallen in and it was derelict. So they were just going to snap it up and turn it up over time.
Yeah.
Anyway, because they couldn't buy it because the coal board said no, some private developer came in and turned it into a hotel spa facility. And it was really nice.
That would have been ideal. So that would have been ideal.
But you could have picked it up for next to nothing because it was essentially derelict.
Yeah. Mr. M was looking at... What were you looking at last night?
I feel a bit embarrassed now, admitting it. I like looking at unusual vehicles for sale.
Okay.
So if I can find unusual vehicles for sale, that's my bag. I love it. I just look at it. And I found... This has got to be the most bizarre fucking thing I've ever seen. It was been used by the fire service. It was an exhibition lorry.
Right.
And they got like two rooms. One, it was literally a burnt out room. So they literally... And I'm like, I think this thing was still about... I think they were asking about 8 or 9 grand for it. But inside, the fire brigade had literally torched it.
They're all like concrete lined, aren't they?
Yeah.
Used to have a family member in the fire service. They used to have like concrete buildings that they'd set fire to for training.
And obviously this was like a mobile thing. And I was like, this would be amazing. This would just be amazing. Turn it into like a mobile club.
Yes, you did. That's what he was thinking last night.
You've given me an amazing idea.
Oh, we've set him off again.
There you go.
Okay, so your love of crazy vehicles?
Yes.
And wanting to build a nice club somewhere?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if you can find a derelict aeroplane. Just get the body of the aeroplane, maybe the wings. The engines can be gone, but you could just make something fake.
Didn't we find something?
Railway carriage.
Get it parked up somewhere.
Yeah.
And you'll have a staircase leading into it, and the interior of the plane is done out like a club with playrooms.
I'm
and
sure.
stuff.
You could call it the Mile High Club.
Yes.
Right there.
Yeah. Me and Russ are on the...
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
Russ.
Do you know
Right
what, though? I have seen something, and I don't know whether it was on Facebook Marketplace or whether it was on eBay, where there was an old... Was it a 747?
It was 757 TikTok.
757, that was there.
TikTok. And
Yeah.
they've done it, changed it into... But yeah, but it was just boring.
That was... They'd just done it as a hotel, hadn't they?
You could have like ultra... Because I actually looked at railway carriages. They're 40-50 grand.
Yeah, they're expensive.
For a railway carriage.
What?
Yeah, old
Yeah.
railway carriages, what, 40-50 grand? It's like, no. But you see, you could have a couple of those.
Is that cheaper than a building, though? I mean,
No.
would it work out cheaper overall?
No, it was rubbish. It was rubbish. Because by the time I worked out to buy the land, I was like millions in debt.
It's like,
And I worked out I could fit at best about 20 people. It was shit. If I'd been on Dragon's Den, I'd have gone, I'm out.
Okay, you don't need to buy it, though.
Okay.
Okay, what about these railway organisations where they'll have things like the Santa train, where they'll pack a bunch of kids on it and they'll go up and down the track for about 5 miles and back again. You know?
That's a good idea.
And in the meantime, they'll hand presents out to the kids, and when you get back, they'll get the next lot on.
Could we charter a train?
Ooh. Charter a train, black the windows out, fill the inside with a disco ball and some wipe down covers.
Sex on the move.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, I quite like that.
A swinger train. Toot, toot.
This is good. This is good.
Vibrations would add to it all, of course.
Wouldn't it?
Anybody out there is on the railways, get in touch. 'Cause I'm serious.
If anybody runs away with the idea, remember you heard it here.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Blimey, we should be writing these down.
There was a couple that bought an old trawler up in Scotland. They bought an actual fishing trawler. When I was like, I was like sat there like full of jealousy. And then I saw a photo of it, and it just like looked like really seriously like a rusted piece of shit.
Smell of fish.
And that was about a couple of years ago, and I've still not heard anything like
No.
So that's probably that idea's probably gone tits up.
Yeah, probably.
It's probably just still a trawler.
It'd be nice to have something else a bit more local, wouldn't it?
Well, if you could do something like that and you convert it, that'd be the Love Boat.
Hey.
I like it. You see, you can't get narrowboats. You can't get many people in. I've looked at that as well.
You did look at that, didn't you?
He's tried it all.
Oh yeah, the imagination. This is my days are just full of. Could I turn that into a swingers?
Okay, what we need is investors.
Dragon's Den.
Yeah.
Dragon's Den.
Yeah. If you're listening,
Duncan.
Valentine.
Get in touch.
You've got no chance with that Sarah. Is it Needham? Sarah Needham? What's
no,
her
that's
name?
Deborah Needham.
Deborah Needham.
No,
chance with that.
don't. That's just a public image. Behind closed doors, she's a vixen.
Deborah Needham's a filthy bitch.
Can we get Dr. Slander on this?
It's a compliment.
Exactly.
So are you guys quite open about being in the naughty hobby in your personal lives?
Not because,
Not
not really.
really.
No, the jobs that we have not really suited to do that.
Okay.
Not unless anybody spots our tattoos.
Oh, have you
okay.
got tattoos?
Explain.
Well, she's covered in them.
Yes, I can see that. But it made it sound like there was one in particular.
There's some like beautiful.
We went to
Well,
Skeggy
the
a
legs
few
are coming
weeks
out.
ago.
Oh, cool.
This is really cool. Upside down pineapple.
Have you got matching?
Yeah.
Oh, that is so.
We went to
Mine's
Skegness
around here
twice
somewhere.
this year. We went earlier to while we were in Fantasy Island, the fun fair in Ingermells.
Yeah.
They've got the cheap skeggy tattoos. So
Yeah.
we go in there and I can't find a pineapple for the life of me. Though the walls are covered in stencils.
He'd already decided that that's what we were getting.
Yeah.
So I said to the guy, have you got a pineapple anywhere? And he's looking, he's thousands, and he just goes straight to it. That one there. So he obviously knows where everything is.
Yeah.
And they get the piece of paper that it's like tracing paper, and they put the image on it, and then they stick it on your leg, and then whatever. So before he sticks it on my leg, I said, "Hang on a minute, can you turn it upside down?" And he stops and looks at me, cocks his head back, and goes, "Oh yeah, upside down, yeah."
He knows. If you
I
knew.
did say to you the
instantly.
other day, didn't I, when you were going into the office because you were wearing shorts, has anybody ever noticed your tattoo? And you went, no, not yet. Whereas with me, obviously I have a few more. It's a bit more.
Can't see the wood for the trees with yours.
But yeah, it kind of hides there a little bit. Whereas yours is like on a nice plain leg.
Oh, I'm a lovely blank canvas.
Blank.
Filling up now though.
Well, I tend to get filled more with whip marks than tattoos. That's the thing.
Because you go to fetish events as well, don't you? As well,
Yeah.
So is it like a sub-dom, or do you
For the day.
for the day?
Yeah.
For one day a month, I'm indulged that I can be in control.
So that's a bit like it's a bit like Mrs. N.
Not that you're not in control the other times. You are kept in a life of extreme splendour.
He cooks and cleans is a real catch.
Absolutely.
It's flipping well is.
stop.
Hang on a minute.
Got trips out to National Trust plays. It's like,
Mr. N.
I've got to raise my
It's
game.
flipping well have.
Oh, hush, you're making me embarrassed. He says here, half naked.
So on the fetish side, then, what's your thing?
I do a mix of impact and sensation play.
Okay.
He loves being blindfolded and tied up. He also likes it when I get other people involved, although that doesn't happen at the fetish events because fetish people don't like swingers either.
Yes.
Doesn't mix very well, so...
Yeah, you see, we've had different experiences with this, haven't we? Because we've had people in that go, yeah, it totally mixes, but it seems to be like old school, where again it's like no, it doesn't mix.
You kind of one or the other.
Yeah.
Whereas we're finding now, the more and more people we meet and we speak to, there's a definite crossover there. Definite.
That's it. I mean, even if you classify yourself as just a swinger, but you like to be tied up, that's a fetish.
Yeah, sounds like
true.
You're already blending those little separations, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, we go along. We do that on that day only. I'm the dom.
Yep.
Although I'm very tightly led by what you like, aren't I?
Like if she hits me with something that's too hard or too sharp.
Yeah, you'll go, what the bloody hell was that?
Because there's two different kinds of whacking, isn't there? Obviously, you've got what they call thuddy,
Yeah.
which is like your wide sort of floggers and
Paddles and things.
and then you've got what they call stingy, which are kind of your narrow floggers that hurt
or
like
whips or things.
buggery.
Yeah.
Well, you got your blunt force trauma, which is large flat objects.
Yeah.
You got your very soft objects like your multi-headed, say suede or leather whip heads that maybe an inch wide or so.
Yeah.
I don't think that we've ever done the solid object ones.
Yeah. But then there was this cane that she had once, which was like a nylon rod.
Like a horsewhip.
Oh, just like solid nylon.
It was just a plastic cane.
Plastic cane.
Just a cheap
Yeah.
one from like Love Honey or something.
Yeah.
Now the end wasn't very rounded; it just came to a very abrupt end, like a cylinder.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think the hit that happened didn't go across the full face of the skin. It ended.
It was like on the back of
skin.
his thigh, just under his
So that's
thumb.
sharp.
So the sharp end, basically opened me up and left this enormous bloody wound for a long time.
Ow.
Yeah. It wasn't so much the pain, because the pain was quite nice, because
I took great pleasure in poking it, didn't I, for weeks.
yeah, it's once you have the impact, it raises the nerve endings in the area, and then your aftercare makes you feel really good afterwards. But it's every time you look at it, you get that weird, that's blood again.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that then sets me off because of what happened.
Yeah,
Yeah, trauma.
absolutely, yeah.
We've got very good friends. If you listen to any of the podcast called Vanilla Chocolate, and Vanilla, the lady came in, and she was just so open and described some of her past traumas.
Yeah, she was incredible, wasn't she?
And she sort of said, being in the lifestyle, and she was kind of going on a journey into kink, wasn't she? And she suddenly just described that she was into fetish and just getting into it, and chivalry with ropes play and stuff.
Yeah.
But she said before that it brought back. She had to deal with some of her
I heard
trauma.
that episode.
She was just beautiful.
It's really good to hear people talking about experiences like that. And then also you realise that you can work your way over them as well.
Yeah.
I think once you find that right person that you can trust,
Yeah.
Working slowly over those issues, you can pretty much overcome anything.
And it's so lovely, because it seems to be like you've almost repeated the same thing, where you've had to face your demons and you've like found something that you trust, and it's just so different. It's lovely to hear.
Yeah, I mean, when we first kind of got together and I was told about what had happened, he doesn't like it if we sees anything that's got, knives and things like that. So I'd see people playing with knives in the clubs, you know, at the kink events, and I'd be like, let's just go over here, shall we? And he's like, you're freaking out more than me. Just relax. Just relax.
But that's a lovely thing.
I'll see it, and I'll move out the way.
That's because you care.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know...
But it intrudes in other areas. We went to a burlesque show a while back. All pretty normal stuff, you know. But one of the people there was a chap doing sword swallowing.
Right.
So I didn't exactly run out of the arena screaming, but I just kind of averted my eyes and like,
yeah,
I'm not going to look at this.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just a sudden trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it gets better over time. You know, you just have to try and, you know, work with it.
Yeah.
And you're helping me a lot, aren't you?
Aww.
Did you find it hard though? To because was the part of you that was worried?
Yeah,
when you were doing the dom side, that what if?
Well,
I obviously don't use it. I don't use knives, so I have no worries about adapting anything that I do myself. But yeah, if I see things, I guess it's because we do care about each other.
Just protect him.
Yeah, I want to protect him from that. You know, so.
I totally get it, because obviously with Mrs. N, which is common about her oversensitive nerve endings, and it sometimes triggered you where you've just gone into a playroom and you'll see people absolutely hammering each other, and it will set Mrs. N off.
Yeah,
just because it's a trauma of the actual
I can almost
pain.
feel pain just by watching it.
Yeah.
But we were saying, I think sometimes the noise is almost worse than the actual seeing it, because it sounds horrendous sometimes when it's not actually.
Not so much the squelching as the cheek clapping.
Yes, it's that whole
more almost thumping.
Yeah, yeah. And I can stand there and go, ooh, you know, like if you
can hear bones hitting each other, not butt cheeks.
Yeah,
you boys watch somebody get kicked in the nuts or something, and it makes you cringe and go,
yeah.
I almost feel it.
It's the worst pain ever.
Yeah, and that's what I was experiencing by going into the playroom.
Well,
sometimes,
we do something that quite a lot of people give that reaction to, don't we? We discovered that Russ really, really enjoys being sounded. So,
okay, now you need to explain this to us.
A new one.
Just they're thin metal rods. They like get thicker and twisted and
surgical grade stainless steel. So they're
and they're just inserted like into the tip of down your urethra.
Oh, okay.
Lots of lube. Gentle movements, and people see us doing that, and
there's
literally
two
you get the same reaction from some people as if you have just kicked them in the balls. They're like, really? no, can't do that.
Sometimes you'll hear a voice drift over from the distance, going like, "He's got a metal rod in his cock."
What's she doing? What's going on over there?
Oh God, no! And they'll run away.
So how did you discover you liked that?
Well, you suggested it.
Well, I had the kit thanks to our dear mutual friend Tina Fontes.
Okay.
Big shout out to Tina.
We love Tina.
I can never thank you enough, but I will continue to try.
So a few years ago, Tina taught me how to do it on somebody else that she'd got tied up in her bedroom one day.
She's a walking encyclopedia of kink.
She is phenomenal.
Yeah,
no, she's Google. She's Google of kink.
Could have been a fly on the wall during that event. It's like come upstairs a minute, darling. And you go upstairs and there's a man tied up on the bed. It's like, what? How? What? Can't even explain it.
I mean, the story kind of went. I got a message off of Tina one day saying, "I've got a sub coming round later. Do you wanna come round and help me? But he won't know that you're coming." So this poor guy just got 2 for the price of 1, I guess.
Oh, wow.
And he crept down the stairs after I'd walked in through the front door, and it was like, "Is it safe? Is it safe? Like, who's just come in?" And Tina's like, "It's all right. This is your present." So I was taught how to use the sounding rods.
Wow.
And you tried it previously, hadn't you? But hadn't really enjoyed it.
Now, this is the thing. Counterproductively, some people might think, I'm going to go for the smallest one because it'll be the least invasive and won't,
That's what you would
won't
think.
stretch me as much.
Yeah.
Okay. But the smallest ones, because they are very narrow, could be perceived to be sharp.
Right. It's a bit spiky.
Yeah, I mean, I have messaged somebody recently if they're listening to the podcast. I'm shouting out to you, where they said they'd experimented with these things and they'd actually caused a little bit of blood flow.
Yeah.
Now, it's possible they went for the smallest one and managed to puncture something.
So what are they like at the ends? Is it...
Oh, very rounded. They're very smooth and rounded.
Yeah.
But like I say, if they're only, say, 1 millimetre across...
It's still
piercing.
Yeah,
I get that.
It's still very thin,
yeah.
and there's only so far you can go before you'll eventually hit something that's not going to give.
If you just catch, like, if you're doing it too hard or too fast with the ones that are really narrow, then it's really easy to scratch, the inside. So
how far do they go?
all the way to the bottom, really. If you put your thumb...
Too far sometimes.
Oh, my God. One occasion, he literally frightened the shit out of me.
The thing is, when this happens, you can't be tensing up, because even though you enjoy what's happening, you know what happens when you're almost there.
Yeah.
And you get those muscle contractions that start from one and they kind of force away upwards.
Yeah.
Okay, so if there's anything in there, it's just going to push it in that direction. But if you're relaxed, the more relaxed you are, the easier it'll go in. And she just got me in this perfect zen state, and I'm just laying there going, oh, this is amazing.
I'm just
and then
very
she
gently
freaked out because I
going
swallowed
in
the
and
thing.
out with it. And he literally went...
He just went, sucked it inside, and it just went all
but
the way in.
as it went in, it shot back out again. I was like, oh my God.
That was a close.
Oh, wow.
So they don't have anything on the ends?
Some of them do, but
They do
the
now.
actual, like the whole, the whole kit that I have, they don't. They are just, they're double-ended, slightly thicker at one end than they are at the other. So you can, like turn them round, and we
2 different thicknesses for the price
we
of one.
have invested in some different ones that are like little spiral effects, and they have little rings on the end.
Almost like a knobbly one, so it looks like almost like a pearl necklace that's straightened out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that goes in.
What kind of sensation does it give you?
It's...
I don't know whether you can describe it, but I'm fascinated.
I have tried. So try and imagine that you are on the verge of being about to come.
Yeah.
And you can feel the area swelling up as if you're about to come. But obviously, it's that area that's right at the base near the perineum, and you can feel that whole thing building and building and building. Now that would normally just be a few seconds before, bam, off you go.
Yeah.
Now try and imagine you extend that sensation for, say, 10, 15, 20 minutes.
No.
Sometimes longer with you, because you are very stubborn.
It's not stubborn. I know what I enjoy.
Does it leave you like exhausted after it? Is
No,
just chilled?
No, just absolutely chilled. It's zen, absolute serenity. There was very recently we went to Ecstasia. Which night was it? Was it the?
I think it might have
was
been
it
the
Risque
Entice
Reggae?
night. Oh, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was Risque Reggae. We decided to go into the little open play area, which is down the side.
Down by the dungeon.
Yeah, lovely. 3 people were playing next to us, and we were sat in the middle of the bed area, and a crowd had formed around the various windows and entrances. And you had me going for over an hour, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Sometimes I can be very much, for goodness sake, can you just come now?
Always the dog.
Like, come on.
But that's just it. It's not vigorous, like it's not like she's trying to.
On that occasion, though,
It's not like she's trying to clean a drain or anything.
Yes.
It's all,
Chimney sweep.
it's very, very slow, and it's very, very controlled.
And if you give it a twist as
So-
well, that's nice, isn't it?
As someone who's completely novice to sounding, how long would it take to kind of go all the way in there?
To get the tube all the way in,
About 5 seconds.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Really?
plenty of.
You can get the tube all the way
plenty
to
of lube
where you
and
need
just
to go.
really gently, and you can you get the tube in within seconds.
I wasn't sure if you were going to say like 10, 15, 10
I
minutes.
didn't know whether it was
You
like
get the tube.
And then you can just obviously build from different thicknesses. So some people have there's like huge ones.
The
that
original
I
rods that
wouldn't go
she's
anywhere
got,
near.
I've got a very gentle S bend to them, so if you twist those, you get this kind of camber action on the inside. And because the end is stimulating that part at the bottom as well, you're always on the edge. So
I was thinking, this image in my mind, because years ago, obviously when people used to siphon petrol tanks in cars. So, you're going to follow me on this one. So what manufacturers did, they put an S shape in different shapes so you couldn't get hose in to siphon petrol tanks.
No, it's not quite the same as a car part.
although you did siphon petrol out of it, hadn't
on that occasion when we were doing it for nearly an hour, I did actually manage to make you come with the rod still in, didn't I? Which that's the first time we've done that together.
Wow.
Normally it's like play with the rods, and
take
then
the rods out and then finish me off.
Yeah.
But in this particular instance, it was while the rod was inside, she managed to finish me off.
What reaction did you give me for that?
Is that a rarity?
What was your reaction to that? I think there was a bit of a stop, tap it out, stop.
Yeah.
Is it a rarity for that to happen generally?
We don't have an official safe word. Not yet.
Yeah.
But I think we might have to have one after this. But
We do try.
It was. I patted the surface of the bed that we were on. Say, okay, time out. Tap it out now. Pineapple, red, code red. Stop.
We try to come up with safe words, don't we? And then we forget
as
what
well.
we
You
said.
Forget which ones they are. It's like apple pie. No, meringue.
The thing is, what's the purpose of the code word? The purpose of the code word is so that other people around you.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, if you start screaming apple pie in the middle of a playroom. They're just going to be nudging each other going, that's their safe.
You never know, in some places you might actually suddenly find an apple pie up your rectum or something.
Yeah, we did have the whole the 10 most popular things to insert conversation at one of the kink munch meets.
I wasn't involved in that one, but
Okay.
apparently
I'm intrigued.
Yes.
Freddie Starr's hamster didn't make the list.
No, they were all vegetables. There were things like pineapples, but then that obviously extended to is that bottom first or leaves first?
Ouch.
A marrow.
Marrows, kumquats, cucumbers, which obviously is
Pumpkins.
like the
I get
norm.
it, but it's like...
Obviously,
Yeah, pumpkins.
you could have the same. You can have the same problem with anal as you were talking about, obviously with the rod, where it's sucking it in. So you've got to be careful with the anal because.
At least when you're doing the sounding, it's got like a bend at the bottom to go round. So I don't think it's ever going to go. With the metal rod, it's not going to go down and round.
Yeah.
But with the anal,
might,
then
you never know.
that's a bit more risky, isn't it?
Put it this way, nobody's putting their pumpkin up my...
October soon, Mrs. N.
No way.
He bought me a present yesterday. It arrived in the post. There's our latest little video that we put on Fab. What have you bought me?
It was an 18-inch long jelly double-ended dildo.
Okay.
And it is girthy.
So he was trying to just like poke me in the shoulder with it yesterday. So I grabbed it off him and smacked him around the arse with it. And he was like, "Ow, that really hurt." I'm like, "That's nothing compared to what it is going to do." So the video is just like me waggling it, saying, "Do you like my dick?"
Incidentally, for those listening at home, if you mind through our video collection, it's not the first time she spanked me across the arse with a giant dildo.
But the jelly one hurt.
It was a really good thump, wasn't it? That might maybe make its way into my kit bag for kink events.
I don't think we've ever done solid objects, have we? You've used flockers on me.
Yeah.
We've not used the. We've got a couple in the toy box, I think.
Well, and don't forget, obviously, a few weeks ago when we went to Purple Mamba, I had the pleasure of being taught by Tina
Monteith. So, I mean, that was an opportunity too good to miss. You know, there we were in with a St Andrew's cross.
I waited until I got him tied up on the cross before I mentioned to somebody else that was in the room, can you go and find Tina?
It was vanilla chocolate.
Oh, it was vanilla chocolate. I sent chocolate off to go and find Tina for me, and she was there in a flash.
Yeah, I was a bit concerned because he fucking ran with glee.
He did. And sat there with a big grin on his face, enjoying the show.
I think he was into a bit of sadism.
You were a little nervous then, weren't you?
A bit nervous. I was shitting myself. Tina Monteith, you know, I'm on the cross.
Tina was definitely my mentor in the early days.
She's awesome.
Definitely.
She's phenomenal though, because like I said, I think we talked about it on the podcast. I think you automatically assume when you talk about fetish and BDSM and everything that there's a lot of pain and it's quite aggressive and stuff, and it isn't. It's all very controlled, and it's all about the sensations and where you need to.
The queen of sensation.
Yeah.
Isn't she? Knows exactly.
Yeah.
One of the best bits, isn't it, for you, is after I have hit you with something, is when I've given you a bit of impact, is rubbing my hands over that area.
Yeah. Definitely raises the nerve endings to a point where they're super sensitive. So if you then introduce an element of sensual touching to that area, it feels so much better.
On one occasion at the end, you'd asked me what I was using, if I'd got a piece of silk or something to rub over your back, hadn't you? And I was like, no, it was just my hands.
Yeah, it felt like she was rubbing me down with a piece of silk. It was brilliant. It was really nice.
It is. I think for anyone that's not tried sensation play, it's something you've got to try, because if you'd said to us beforehand, before we tried it, and bear in mind we only tried it for the podcast, and then now it's like something that we really, really enjoy.
And the things that you have in your kit bag aren't always things that you I get a lot of stuff off Amazon. Like the claws that you pulled pork apart with.
The bear claws things, those. Oh,
fantastic. I've got an extendable back scratcher.
Oh, no, there's telescopic back scratcher with a little metal hand on the end. It's just like you scratch your back with it, but you
don't know what I do with it, do you? Because you've got your blindfold on. Just different things.
I bet we should get one of those, but that's quite nice for just underneath your balls.
Yes.
Yeah. Feathers do really well under there.
Yes, you did buy us a couple of feathers, didn't you?
Feathers.
Yes.
Yeah, from Amazon. Very good.
I think we need to put a flip-flop in there.
Flip-flop?
Yeah, so you can... Or a slipper.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can get that sensation of going to the headmaster's office and...
like a real slipper.
I've already got the canes. We've got the paddles, they're pretty
I am from an era...
Do you do any of that kind of play?
Not yet, but I just thought of it. No, I am from an era where the primary school that I went to, the very first year that I was there, was the very last year that I believe they banned corporal punishment.
Yeah.
So I actually did get the slipper from the headmaster once.
Did you?
Okay.
Yeah, well, you're older than me. So
did you turn around and go, oh, I quite like that?
I'm fairly certain SAS did exist in those days, but
I was just thinking,
I hadn't discovered it yet.
That could have been the starting of lots of people's fetish.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Eton, I'm pretty sure in the Eton Etonians and the whole. That's why some of the clubs around there. There was a lot of kink and fetish clubs because of a lot of the old Etonians beating the shit out of each other. So as legend has it.
We'll have to ask Boris.
Exactly. I'm sure you'll find most of Westminster.
There's not much that's off limits with us, is there?
Yeah. I need to be more accepting of everything else that goes on. Even if I'm not necessarily into it, I should never, ever kink shame anybody for what they do. Even if it's something that's extreme and something that I'm maybe scared of or something else. It's like, well, it's not me who's doing it.
I don't think you do, though. I think you just move yourself away from things that you're not interested in.
No, sometimes even if I'm not necessarily interested in doing it, I may
There's
have...
intrigue.
Yeah, I may have an extreme technical interest in... what's happening over there? This looks interesting.
But that's the thing, that's what I was saying, because it is more of a technical act that you're doing.
And even if you're not into it, sometimes you can adapt what you're seeing
Yeah.
into something that you do like.
Yeah, you can learn so much just by going along to the events and watching.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've definitely seen things and thought, do you know what? I
So
might try that.
are there particular kink events that you would recommend to our listeners who have probably never been to a kink event?
Definitely Embargo at Libs.
Okay.
Which is the first Sunday of each month.
Yeah.
That's with the wonderful Master Paul and Lady Selena.
Yeah. They have different themes.
And you can go along and just watch, can't you? There's absolutely no pressure to
Yeah, definitely.
to be strapped up. And
Yeah.
Absolutely, and there are people who even get their kicks just going along and watching, even just at swing clubs.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
You
Absolutely.
don't,
Very recently discovered the. Thank you to all the participants, by the way. The 8-person event that happened in Amigos recently. There's a girl who goes in there all the time. She's very young, very pretty, but all she does is watch,
Yeah.
and that's her thing.
Voyeur.
And I've not got 2 words out of her in all the time that I've ever seen her there.
Really?
But because this thing was going on in the corner, that was a visual buffet, she was right in the doorway, just getting an eyeful. And I've never seen such a big smile on her face, because this is exactly what she's there for, to get the kink of watching.
Voyeurism.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. So from that point, we couldn't shut her up.
no, she loved it.
She absolutely loved it, and it's like, if only we knew, because I'm a massive exhibitionist.
Yeah.
It's a perfect match.
If that's her
Voyeurism.
kink, I'm more than happy that if we're doing something together and we not necessarily want anybody to join us, we just want to have us time,
Yeah.
more than happy for her to sit in the corner.
We've had a very similar experience where we had a couple that wanted to come along to an event, and they sent us an email, and they were like, oh, no, we don't actually like swapping, we just like watching other couples. And it's like,
That's
you
fine.
can do that.
Yeah,
definitely.
exactly.
It's perfectly
There are
fine.
even rooms set up for that. You've been in the attic, you've got the couples
Yes.
room,
Yeah.
and you've
exactly.
got that double-sided mirror, two-way mirror,
That's right,
with
yeah.
sofas on the other side. Well,
Yeah.
feel free to go and sit on the sofa side and just watch what's going on.
Yeah.
Because what some couples who have perhaps got voyeuristic tendencies is, there's, like you said, exhibitionists who are on the other side of it, and we need voyeurs to watch.
Yeah, exactly.
So earlier on, we were talking, there are people that do literally just like to either dress up in nice underwear or walk around naked.
Yeah.
And, they're not interested in having sex with anybody or swapping partners. Literally just want to walk around and show off and feel good about themselves.
Yeah, you're in that safe environment to do it.
Yeah, you don't have to. You should never go to a club expecting to have sex that night. So if you go in just thinking, I'm going to go and have a good time, feel good about myself, make friends, have chats with people, and that's what it's really
Which is
about, isn't
almost
it?
going back to a vanilla lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, when before all of this monkey business set off, you'd go out in the town on Saturday night with your girl, and you'd go and dance and drink and enjoy yourself, and you'd come home not expecting anything was going to happen.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Keep that mindset, and you'll never go wrong.
Yeah,
That's a
and
perfect
anything
piece
that does
of
happen,
advice, that is. It's a bonus.
It's an absolute bonus.
Yeah, absolutely.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. I'd like to thank you so much for coming along today.
Thank
Enjoyed
you for
it.
inviting
Thank
us.
you.
Oh,
And
no,
just
honestly,
sharing
our
your
pleasure.
experiences. I could listen to you for hours. You must come back and tell us more experiences, and it's just I still can't believe you've only been together 6
I
months.
know. I know. Oh, look, we go with
Look
we
at
get
kiss.
kisses again. It's so cute.
Oh, hush with you.
Well, and our big thing now is we need to get you to one of our events.
I'm sure there
Come
are.
and spend an evening with us, because that would be amazing.
I'm sure there are many couples who will now be loving to meet you.
Absolutely.
You'll be
And
sick
if
of me.
people wanted to get in touch with you and talk to you about kink, fetish,
Or anything
like
else,
that,
yeah.
How can they reach you on Fab Swingers?
You can find us on Fab Swingers and Pineapple,
Oh, you're on Pineapple.
and on r/swingers on Reddit.
Okay, and your Fab name is
CheekyDemand.
CheekyDemand.
Oh, bless you.
Most of the time you'll find it's Russ that's chatting. He likes chatting a lot, don't you? I come home
You'll-
from work and I'm like, how many forum threads have you commented on today?
To be fair,
Quickly catch myself back up.
most of the forum threads I do preface with brackets Mr.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
they know it's me.
You can
Yeah.
usually tell who you're chatting to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
because I
must-
start a sentence with a capital letter and end with a full stop.
So are you on our Discord? On our Discord
We
channel?
only really
You
chat
must.
through through Fab.
Okay.
That's our main.
So Discord, we've got like a club. It's like a virtual club. Discord. So Tina's on there. She's always chatting on there. You must join our Discord. Totally free.
Yeah.
Definitely have a chat.
It's definitely going to happen.
We'll have a look. Yeah, we'll look into it.
Excellent.
Brilliant.
I'm not very technically minded with all these things, so
Russ is the one.
yeah. It's a good job I live with an IT specialist.
It is, isn't it? That's kind of handy. The only reason he wants you on Discord is in case we have any questions, you see, he can come back and go, Ross, this isn't working, what do I do?
Definitely.
Thank you so much, guys. It's been brilliant meeting you both.
Absolutely awesome.
It's been a pleasure for both of us.
I feel like we're already friends now, which is great.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
No, honestly, it's just so lovely. You're so easy to talk to, and the fact that you've just both been so honest about some quite personal things. We hope to get to see you very, very soon.
Yeah, that would be
We do
brilliant.
too.
Thank you.
And to all our listeners, we shall see you next time.
You will do.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.